Hi, I'm Angie, and you're watching Dante's Vaccination.
If you guys are looking for more great content and a website that covers everything from sports, business, politics, technology, hip-hop, and even more, you need to go over to rapstreamtv.com. The website is ran and owned by Sire. They'll keep you guys updated on everything. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, I figured with the coronavirus and everything going on in the sport of boxing, this is the best time to hand out the most overrated fighter of all time award. But before we get to the nominees, let's go ahead and break down exactly what the word overrated even means. Because see, a lot of people, they abuse the word. A lot of fans, especially in the sport of boxing, they will usually use this word to discredit someone that they personally don't like, a fighter that they don't like personally. For example, if Jermall Charlo wants to fight Canelo Alvarez, if he wants to fight Gennady Golovkin, the fans that are in fear that Canelo or Golovkin may lose to a Jermall Charlo, they'll automatically try to make excuses for why they don't want to watch the fight by saying, hey, Jermall Charlo, he's overrated, he's a bum, etc., etc. So that's how decafs use the word. But that's not the definition of the actual word. Matter of fact, I wanted to put it on the screen so you guys understand everything that I'm about to tell you is fact. It's the whole truth, as it always is on this channel. Unless I openly tell you guys, this is my opinion on something, but this is actual fact. You guys can see the definition of what overrated is right on the screen. You see what it says? It says, have a higher opinion of someone or something than is deserved. And when we're talking about having a higher opinion, who are we talking about? We're talking about ESPN. We're talking about the mainstream media. We're talking about people in the sport with major influence that can have the highest opinion or the lowest opinion, depending on who it is they like. So with that being said, let's get into the candidates. We're going to start with the can man, Adrien Broner. Now, Adrien Broner is only on this list because I'm giving you guys once again a perfect example of what decafs would try to define as being overrated. See, because once again, they'll try to cause confusion. If I were to tell you, well, this guy is overrated or the most overrated, they'll try to compare him to someone like Adrien Broner and say, well, what about Adrien Broner? This guy is better than Adrien Broner, and et cetera, et cetera. Look how many times AB lost. And once again, that has nothing to do with the definition. The reason why AB doesn't get this award and he's not considered overrated or the most overrated, because the mainstream media in boxing, in the boxing world, has never rated Adrien Broner at the top of the sport, right? They've never said he was pound for pound the best fighter in the world. ESPN didn't put him on that list of the greatest fighters of the last 25 years. But once again, we already know how racially biased ESPN is. So once again, based off the definition of overrated, Adrien Broner will not be getting this award. All right, before we go to the next candidate, I got to show some love to my sponsors. And once again, thank you guys for flooding these brothers' YouTube channels with new subscribers. I want you guys to check out this ad.
Salute family, it's Tank Commander Zulu in the Real Man Movement. I just want to take the time and extend my gratitude for all that you have done for the channel Tank Commander Zulu and the Real Man Movement. As of today, we have exceeded 1,000 subscribers and still growing. And that's all thanks to Dante for allowing us to use his platform, and to the DBN Nation. Salute once again. I want to also encourage any entrepreneur, any YouTube content creator, any artist, whatever you're doing, to get with Dante and have him promote your channel with the baddest brand in the land, Dante's Boxing Nation, baby. It has done miracles for my channel. In only about 8 or 9 days, we went from 200 subscribers to over 1,000 subscribers. And once again, I want to thank the DBN Nation. Salute to you again. for supporting Tank Commander Zulu, and also for being in the family, the DBN family, the Dante's Boxing Nation family, baby, the baddest brand in the land. I just wanted to go ahead and send that out to everybody and encourage you. If you do have an idea, make sure you get with Dante. And remember, fear no man but God, baby. No man but God. Tank Commander Zulu, signing out.
There it is, guys. So if you're looking for some new subscribers on your YouTube channel, or you want me to promote whatever it is you're selling, go ahead and contact me at dantesboxingnation@gmail.com. Now let's get back into it. The second nominee is Chocolatito Roman Gonzalez. Do you guys remember when Gonzalez first hopped onto the scene? I'm talking about before he had even fought in the States. At least 75% of boxing fans had never even heard of Roman Gonzalez. But guess what? Old media, the majority of the boxing world, all of a sudden they had him rated pound for pound over everybody in the world, right? All of a sudden HBO was pushing it hard because this was when HBO was still in effect. They were pushing this narrative hard that Gonzalez was pound for pound the best fighter in the world. And the irony is, you had fans, decafs I would say, that didn't even know who he was, but all of a sudden they hear Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, or ESPN saying #1, the best fighter in the world is Roman Gonzalez. And they're like, man, who is this Roman Gonzalez guy? And once they confirmed that he wasn't black, they start going right along with everything else that old media was saying. They was like, shit, I'll ride with it. If they're saying he's #1, I'll say he's #1. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as the HBO and ESPN throws out that red meat, the decafs, they eat it up right away. They did the same thing with Nonito Donaire. Soon as Nonito Donaire beat Fernando Montiel, knocked him out, as Jim Lampley was calling the fight, he yelled out, now Donaire is pound for pound #2, the best fighter in the world, next to Manny Pacquiao. And just because Jim Lampley said it, old media followed suit. So once again, you have this undefeated fighter, Roman Gonzalez, that has never even fought in the States. And yet they already have him ranked pound for pound the best fighter in the whole wide world, right? That, my friend, is what you call overrated. That is the definition of overrated. Having a high opinion on someone that's not deserved. It's not deserved because Roman Gonzalez did not do enough to be considered pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Once again, I go back to a great quote that Teddy Atlas made when he said, it's about telling you what's there, not what we want it to be. And that's exactly what they did with Roman Gonzalez. And then the praise just got bigger and bigger for Gonzalez. Because then ESPN, they came out and they rated him as top 25, one of the greatest fighters ever in the last 25 years. They had Roman Gonzalez rated over fighters like Winky Wright, Terry Norris, and even Miguel Cotto. But what makes this whole situation crazier is they put Roman Gonzalez on this list at the beginning of his stardom, like when he first started to get a buzz. I mean, it's equivalent to putting Floyd Mayweather on this list right after he won his first title and beat Gennady Hernandez. You can't compare a fighter who's at the early stages or the middle of his career to someone who has already completed their career. Because now you're comparing an undefeated Gonzalez to some fighters that have already lost because they've been fighting longer. They've already dealt with adversity. They've already dealt with moving up in weight, fighting different level of opposition. They've already dealt with that before. So if you're going to make a comparison, you would have to compare the undefeated Roman Gonzalez to the undefeated Miguel Cotto, the undefeated Gonzalez to the undefeated Terry Norris, or Winky Wright, I should say. So it was way too premature for them to compare Roman Gonzalez to fighters on that list that have already completed their career. If they were going to compare Roman Gonzalez to fighters like that, they should have started comparing him now. Because now Roman Gonzalez, he has already dealt with adversity. He's went up in weight classes, and we've seen how hard he struggled to fight against guys at higher weight classes. So now we really know where to rank him. But see, that's what old media does. And this is the reason why they did it that way. They wanted to hurry up and put him on the list before he ends up losing, right? So is he overrated? Absolutely. But he doesn't get the #1 spot because that goes to Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, the most overrated fighter of all time. Because if you compare Gennady Golovkin to Roman Gonzalez, you see, once again, ESPN had both of these fighters on that top 25 list for greatest fighters of the last 25 years. But the difference from Triple G and Gonzalez is Golovkin did less than Roman Gonzalez. And Golovkin was at least daring to be great. Roman, he moved up in weight, fighting the best fighters at a higher weight class, something that Gennady Golovkin never did. So Golovkin did less while being rated extremely high by old media. You know, it's so funny with these decafs because every single time, you know, they claim they hate Floyd so much, and according to them, they don't even like Floyd Mayweather's name to be mentioned, right? But whenever they come across a fighter that they actually like and it's time to defend their fighter, whose name do they always bring up? Floyd Mayweather's name. They always bring up Floyd Mayweather's name. Like when it comes to Golovkin, a lot of fans used to always say, well, you know, Floyd Mayweather, he can't knock out nothing. He can't bust a grape. He has no power, pillow-fisted, and that's why we like Golovkin because he gets knockouts, etc., etc. We would always hear fans say that. So fans, I want to ask you a question right now. Who is the best fighter on Golovkin's resume that he knocked out? If I ask you that question, you're going to most likely say someone like who? David Lemieux, Macklin, Willie Monroe, Vanes Monterosian? Because that would pretty much be the best fighters that he's knocked out of all of his opponents. By way of contrast, when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, first of all, you have to remember, Floyd Mayweather, he moved up 5 weight classes. So if we're comparing the two fighters when it comes to knockout, we should be comparing the middleweight Golovkin to the junior lightweight Floyd Mayweather, right? We can't compare the middleweight Golovkin to the blown up Floyd Mayweather. So with that being said, who did Floyd Mayweather knock out? Let's just start with Diego Corrales. Guys, Diego Corrales was pound for pound number 5, the best fighter in the world, undefeated, and he was the favorite to beat Floyd Mayweather. Okay? A pound for pound fighter that was favorite to beat Floyd Mayweather, and that's just one of the guys that Floyd Mayweather knocked out. Golovkin has never knocked out a fighter that was on the pound for pound list. Matter of fact, Golovkin has never even beaten a fighter on the pound for pound list without any controversy. Because it doesn't matter if fans sit over here and say, oh, he beat Canelo twice. None of that matters. If you're a Golovkin fan, of course you're going to say that. The bottom line is he was supposed to beat Canelo Alvarez far more easier than a much smaller, older Floyd Mayweather beat Canelo Alvarez. How is it possible that a small Floyd Mayweather, who was 15 to 20 pounds smaller than Canelo, dominated Canelo more than Golovkin did? So even if you want to say Golovkin won the fight, he should have never struggled to where they could have took the fight from him. It should have been such a disparity to where even if they tried to rob him, they couldn't do it, because that's what happened with Floyd Mayweather. They tried to rob Floyd when he fought Canelo. Remember one judge? He either had it a draw or had Canelo winning. Whatever it was, they tried their best to take that fight from Floyd Mayweather, but they couldn't. Why? Because Floyd completely dominated Canelo Alvarez. Same thing applies with Manny Pacquiao when people say, well, Manny Pacquiao got robbed by Jeff Horn, or, they robbed Manny Pacquiao in the Jeff Horn fight. Well, if that's the case, I ask the question, how come Manny Pacquiao didn't dominate Jeff Horn the same way Terrence Crawford dominated him? I know all this truth got these decafs blood boiling right now. But if you're gonna keep watching, I'm gonna keep giving your ass the truth. Let's move on. So we have Golovkin that was painted as this monster, this beast, this Mexican style, etc., etc., etc. And all of a sudden, once Canelo Alvarez comes forward, now Gennady Golovkin is struggling. He wants to box, and he still loses. Listen, man, if Floyd Mayweather was naturally the same size, in his natural weight class, the same size or even bigger than Canelo Alvarez, and we seen he was able to back up Canelo at times in that fight as the rounds progressed, Floyd would have had a very good chance of stopping Canelo Alvarez. I know that's going to piss off you Canelo Alvarez fans, but it's the truth. Once again, when Floyd was fighting in his natural weight class, he was knocking out a lot of fighters that had never been knocked out before. Did you guys know that Diego Corrales had like the best chin in the sport of boxing at the time? He walked through punches the same way Margarito did, if not more. And Floyd Mayweather knocked him out. Now, if Floyd Mayweather was naturally the same weight as Gennady Golovkin, there is no doubt in my mind he would have knocked out Golovkin. I'm not even going to say he might have knocked him out. He would have knocked him out, just like Andre Ward would have knocked out Gennady Golovkin. And speaking of Andre Ward, this is the reason why you could never put Golovkin on that top 25 list. If I didn't already tell you, they put Golovkin on that top 25 greatest fighters of all time in the last 25 years list as well. This is the reason why we know he can't be on that list. This is the reason why we know he's not considered top 25, one of the greatest fighters of all time, because he never dared to be great. He never dared to be great. Golovkin said when he was at 160, he said, I'll fight anybody from 154 to 168. And then soon as pound for pound, number one, the best fighter in the world, challenged him to a fight, he ducked him. He avoided Andre Ward. He chose to fight Marco Antonio Rubio instead of fighting Andre Ward. He chose to fight Willie Monroe instead of fighting Erislandy Lara. And the reason why I tie those two names together is because Lara and Monroe, they had similar styles. So Golovkin or his fans can't use the excuse that Golovkin just didn't like Lara's style. Because both Monroe and Lara were southpaws. They both moved around the ring. The only difference was Lara was a far better fighter, and Willie Monroe only had like about 6 knockouts, compared to Erislandy Lara, who was an Olympian and was at the top of the sport. I mean, when you look at the history of the sport, usually the greats, they go after that guy that everyone is saying is the best in the world. That's the reason why Terrence Crawford has been aggressively going after Errol Spence. Because Errol Spence used to be the boogeyman that nobody wanted to fight. Now Terrence Crawford is doing everything in his power to go up against the boogeyman. That's what the greats do. The only fighter that Golovkin ever wanted to fight was 2 fighters that was smaller than he was, which is Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez. And the fight that was supposed to be his signature fight of his career, which was against Canelo Alvarez, he ended up losing to him. Once again, guys, it doesn't matter if you as a fan say, oh, he won the fight. I don't care what they say, he won the fight. It doesn't matter what you think. He lost the fight. Golovkin was supposed to come back in that rematch and completely blow Canelo out of the water. But he struggled even more in the rematch. I tell you guys all the time, Jim Lampley, who is Gennady Golovkin's biggest fan, he even said, as Golovkin was walking to the ring for that rematch with Canelo, He said, if Golovkin loses this fight to Canelo Alvarez, his entire career will be a failure. Why? Because Golovkin, he avoided everybody, and Canelo was the only fighter that he was willing to get in the ring with, at least on that level, on the elite level. And he couldn't even beat the one guy that he was chasing decisively. If you look at the greats, when they had their signature wins, they either dominated them, or even if they lost to them, they came back in a rematch and dominated them. Golovkin has never done that. And that's why he is the most overrated fighter of all time. And he can thank social media for that, because they were the ones that set him up for failure by trying to tell us something was there that was never there. They just wanted it to be there. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Now check this out. If any of you guys want to learn how to speak and read the original biblical Hebrew words, I want you to go over to zionlawschool.org. You will receive an overview of Phoenician Hebrew, grammar, parts of speech, nouns, verbs, prepositions, etc. This brother that founded this website, he's a doctor and he's a neighbor of mine, at least in a neighboring country, because you know I live in Thailand and he lives in Vietnam. Now he's also selling 3 books, and each book that you buy comes with free online live courses. He has Phoenician Hebrew 101, I Can Read, and 911 Iber Yath Rescue. So if you want to learn more about your roots and you want to learn how to speak the original biblical Hebrew language, I want you guys to go over to zionlawschool.org. Then we have my man Nate Drink 1. He's a 10-year Marine Corps vet. He also has a new YouTube channel. And since I've been promoting him for the last couple of days, his YouTube channel has already went from 60 subs to almost 400 subs. This is, matter of fact, that's an old image you guys were just looking at with the 287. Yeah, but he covers boxing, he covers hip hop battles, he covers all the sports, and he also has a good podcast. It's kind of an ESPN style podcast show called A Drink of Wisdom. So I want you guys to go ahead and show that support and subscribe to King Sensei and subscribe to Nate Drink 1. Let's help these brothers get to 1,000 subs. You know, it don't take nothing but a minute to hit that subscribe button. I'll put their links in the description box. Not only are you supporting their channel, but this is a great way for you guys to support what I do over here at Dante's Boxing Nation. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.